Greetings and welcome to STEM Inspired, where we utilize personal stories and experiences to interest the possibility of a STEM profession in adolescence.
I'm your host, Jacob's Nest.
Today on the show we have a mechanical engineer.
He builds drones, fan of airplanes, and he's a handyman.
Please give a warm welcome
To Justin Simangan.
Could you tell us your name and what you do for a living?
My name is Justin Simangan, and I'm a mechanical engineer for NavAir. I'm right over here at Point Magoo's, and NavAir is part of the Department of Defense. As a mechanical engineer over there, somebody comes to me with a need and be like, hey, we need you to build something like this. I say, okay, I'll put that in the computer. I'll start designing something, and then I will 3D print it and say, is this what you kind of want?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, yeah, sure. All right, let's start testing it.
Is the prototype like a small scale?
It can be small scale, like as small as your fingernail, all the way up to as big as an airplane wing.
Oh, wow.
And then once they give the okay, then we send it out over to the Navy and then for them to actually use.
What is the best part about your profession?
What I really like about driving over there is that it's right on the beach. So it's like driving to the beach every single day. It also, there's an airstrip, so you get to see like airplanes and stuff like that. So it almost doesn't feel like work per se. It almost feels like you're driving to an air show.
What is rewarding about your profession?
I get the opportunity to see the full life cycle of what I design. So whatever I do, it'll keep our soldiers safe out there when they're fighting and protecting our freedom and safety.
Do you have a personal connection to your profession?
My dad was in the Air Force, and he always took us to air shows and stuff like that. And so growing up as a kid, going up to those air shows and seeing the military and seeing all the cool airplanes that they had and all the rockets and stuff, it kind of drew me to that at an early age. And then to be able to have that opportunity later on in life to work and actually design those type of stuff is pretty cool.
You know, going to those air shows, how was that experience?
Like a little kid in Toys R Us, you know, when you take your kid to Toys R Us, they're like, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. Look at this toy over here. Look at that toy over there. The same thing for me at those air shows. Like, look at this plane over here. Look at that over there. Oh, look at the plane in the sky. So it was good. Those are definitely one of my fondest memories as a kid.
When you were younger, what did you imagine you would do for a profession?
When I was about 3 or 4, I remember I wanted to be an astronaut.
What about that interests you?
Have you ever gone to an air show before?
Yeah.
I mean, you hear how loud those things are.
Yeah.
They sound awesome, and then you see them going super fast. As a little kid and growing up, I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to know how it worked. You know, I'm really thankful that my parents took me to those events.
What are your most vivid memories of building things when you were younger or anything like that?
Yeah, for Christmas, my family usually gave me model airplanes or those little toy car kits and stuff. And so I remember spending a lot of my Christmas mornings after opening the presents, just getting out the glue, getting out the screwdrivers and tinkering with those type of things. Also, my dad let me work on the car and also work around the house, fixing up stuff. So if the sink didn't work, he let me do it. And so at an early age, I cultivated a desire to do things hands-on, you know, get my hands dirty, fix things and stuff.
Could you tell me about someone who's been the biggest influence in your life?
Definitely my parents. My dad was a very hard worker, and so was my mom. And my parents encouraged me to, whenever I met a challenge, not to run away or to hide from it. They encouraged me to look at it and try to conquer it as fast as I can, as best as I can. And even if I failed, charge it to experience so that just in case another challenge like that occurred, I'll be able to look at it and be like, I've done something like that before. Hopefully I'll be able to conquer it this time.
Has that helped you later on in your profession?
Yes. So with that mindset, when I started going into high school and doing my AP classes and stuff like that, and I saw that I'm starting to really struggle with some of the upper level math and sciences, actually excited me, because growing up, looking at challenges and being like, okay, let me take it head on, that helped me get through a lot of my difficult subjects in school.
What advice would you give to children who would like to enter a STEM profession?
I would say, number one, stay in school and develop good habits, both study habits and then habits at home as well. I would also say, like, if you find a career that you like, even at an early age, start pursuing it as soon as possible. Don't wait. And then third, I would say mentors. Find someone who is in that field that you're pursuing and ask them as much questions as you can, and then maybe even get a chance to shadow them at their job, because the more and more you know about what you're thinking of doing, a better chance you'll get to making a good decision whether or not that field is good for you. I would also say that Any STEM field is very rewarding. You get to deal with a lot of technology and engineering and science stuff that's really exciting.
Definitely. And what advice or information would you give yourself when you were younger?
I would have told myself to look for more of those engineering and science clubs and get involved with those. I saw how they offered tutoring and stuff like that to help students who were either having a hard time or just wanted to understand more about math and science. And I was already a junior or senior in high school, and I kind of wished that I knew about stuff like that when I was a kid so that I can have more opportunities.
So I have one last question for you. If you could have a superhero power, what would it be and why?
Ooh. Does Iron Man count? So like a very oh, okay, yeah. I would say, because see, Iron Man can fly, and I would say flying, but Iron Man not only flies, he also like having a super brain like Tony Stark to build an Iron Man suit. I'd say that's the superpower that I would want to have.
Well, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to share your story. It's been really inspiring.
Absolutely, no, it was a great opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our program. STEM Inspired is a project of BC STEM Ventura County's cross-sector network to improve educational outcomes in the STEM fields from early learning to career. STEM Inspired is generously funded by Arconic. Innovation engineered. Please join us next time as we continue to dive into the lives and experiences of STEM professionals. As always, I'm Jacob Zindahaz. Discover new things. You never know when an interest can become a passion that can change the world. This has been STEM Inspired.